also for using someone's apartment code to drop flowers off at their door. I, a 35-year-old male, started seeing someone, and we were really hitting it off, or so I thought. We have similar professional backgrounds, congruent political and social views, shared ADHD, and interests in movies and television. Our temperaments, life goals, and general life perspectives were very much in line with each other, and I was very excited to finally meet someone with whom I felt a strong and genuine connection. We had been on 2 back-to-back dates that went late into the night and got PG-13 physical, but nothing beyond some kissing and touching. On our second date, she invited me up to her apartment for a drink before going out and provided me with the code to her apartment building, not the unit itself, to let myself in and up to her unit. The next day, she was away in another city seeing some family, so I purchased some nice orchids and a card. I wrote something like, I know this might seem excessive for a second date, but I couldn't stop thinking about you. I hope we can get together again soon. P.S. I picked the card because it's your favorite color, green. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot for 2 dates. Ooh. I entered her building during the day and dropped the orchids and card off at her apartment door and left. She has a Ring doorbell, which must have alerted her to my presence. Ooh, but I started to get nervous when I did not hear from her for the remainder of that day. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me write down some. Let's write down some red flags. Oh, wait, hold on. We got bought flowers after a second date, dropped them off immediately the day after, wrote in the note acknowledging that it might be too much, did it anyway, entered apartment building with code, got nervous when no response was received that night. She wrote, sorry for the late response. Ooh. I've been running around all day. Plans haven't changed regarding her intention to date someone else that night whom she had met earlier in the week. She had even offered to call that date off, but I left that up to her and encouraged her to see it through, since I don't maintain control over anyone's body or choices. Thank you for the... Oh, no. Oh, shit. I see everything. Hold on. Oh, my God. Oh, no. Thank you for the orchid and card. That's very sweet. I really appreciate it. However, coming to my building and letting yourself into my building without my knowledge after knowing me 4 days is definitely a boundary. Ooh, it's been 4 days. Oh, I thought they were at least chatting a bit first. Ooh. It's definitely a boundary I'm not happy you crossed. It made me feel unsafe, which I can't imagine was your intention, but that is way too much for me where I'm at. As I've mentioned, I'm dating with intention, but that doesn't mean after knowing someone for 4 days, I'm comfortable with that person essentially coming to my home unannounced. Oh, man. And she's making the classic female mistake. When you're a woman and a guy makes you uncomfortable, you always ghost. Don't ever, 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 ever give an explanation. Men will gaslight the fuck out of. They gaslight the fuck out of themselves. They gaslight other men, and they gaslight women into believing that ghosting is mean and bad, and that you should always give a reason for why you don't want to see a guy again. But the reality is, men will never accept these reasons, and they will always debate you on them, and they'll always argue on them, and then they'll try to find you and kill you. Okay, just ghost. It's not worth it. I apologize sincerely and acknowledge that I probably shouldn't have done that, but I asked if she could find it in her heart to forgive me and give me a second chance. Yeah. She responded with, it does feel a bit like a pick-me, knowing I was going on a date with someone else tonight. Wait, how is this a pick-me? Or is she using it differently? Does that have a different normie definition? It does feel a bit like a pick-me, knowing I was going on a date with someone else tonight, and you knew I was gone last night and didn't actually know if I'd bring him home and if he'd see it when I did. I only feel that way because you also asked me to let you know if my plans changed. Again, it feels like you thought they would from that. I'm really not trying to come off as harsh or mean. You're a nice guy from what I can tell. I don't think we're on the same page, and I'm not sure if I feel safe and trust your judgment. Needless to say, I was somewhat crushed and heartbroken. I noted that it wasn't a trick, and it was a gesture of interest and affection. She blocked me on everything, including LinkedIn. Jesus. Am I the asshole for doing this? I've really started to question my own integrity and how people see me in the future. My friends all thought the gesture was sweet, but I can understand how someone might not take it that way, so I'm trying to be objective and reasonable. Oof, and this is why the worst types of friends are the ones that always just gas you up and they never actually call you out on any actions and they just let you do whatever. Okay, real quick. Huge issues. Okay. even if you do really like somebody, you have to appropriately adjust how much you show you like them based on the progression of how long you've known each other. Buying gifts for somebody after knowing them for 4 days or going on 2 dates, like I think a small gift can be cute, especially if you're seeing them on another date. So let's say that you really know that she likes orchids, maybe buying one or something and then like having it for a third date, that would be like a cute gesture or something. But dropping flowers off at somebody's apartment is a lot. That's a lot for only having been on 2 dates. Also, the fact that he dropped those off like the day after is that's a really quick turnaround. That makes him seem a little bit obsessive. Destiny, it was $25 worth of flowers. That's not that bad. Buying like multiple flowers and then dropping them off at somebody's door, I'm not arguing with you here. I'm just telling you that most people are going to see that as a lot. Most people are going to see that as a lot. If you disagree with me, you can have your personal opinion, but I'm giving you warning for socializing in the future that the vast majority of people are going to see that as a lot, okay? Unless you are both like mutually obsessed with each other. Super curious, why did the girl let him up after one date and give him the buzz coat? She must have been super comfortable with him first date, right? That seems like a big thing on her end too. Yeah, I think she kind of up in giving him the code. I don't think that that was appropriate for her to do. However, I don't know if a girl would test a guy like this, but it's always good practice. It's always good practice when somebody gives you permission to do something to always ask also like a second and third or fourth time. Like if I was over at somebody's house and let's say I wanted to get a drink from the fridge and I asked the girls like, hey, can I go grab a drink from the fridge? Is that okay? And she says yes. I'm not going to do it the second and third time, assuming I still have that permission. Or if I come over again, like a third or fourth time, I'm not just going to go into their fridge and grab shit. I'll always ask until you're like very comfortable with the person. You're like officially dating, or you've been on like 4 or 5 or 6 dates. You've been like, after you've got permission like 3 or 4 times, then it's like, okay, yeah, go do it. But I might still ask just to be safe or whatever, right? But after like getting a yes one time, you shouldn't take that as a blanket invitation because there's a bigger thing at play here too. When you tell somebody yes or give somebody the permission to do something one time and then they just do it over and over again without any asking whatsoever, you feel like you're in a very unsafe environment where you can never grant a little bit to test the waters and then recede after or take back something after because the person is now entitled to like a new level of access. So if somebody lets you in your apartment once, the idea that you think you can just come in without saying anything over and over again, that's very, very, very scary. You're sending very bad signals to somebody when you do something like that. Also, the fact that he's literally writing in the note, like, hey, I know this might be too much, like, that's something that you write when you're doing something that definitely isn't too much. You wouldn't write that into something where you think you're actually doing too much, because if you actually think that you're doing too much, then you definitely shouldn't be doing it. Why would you do that at all, you know? Yeah, entering the apartment building with no code. The fact also that the fact that he knew that she was going out on a date that night made it seem like he was checking to see if she'd brought the guy back, which she said in her texts back. So that's also a huge red flag. Was he actually dropping off? Like if I was the girl, I would think he's not dropping off flowers because he gives a fuck. He's just trying to see if there's actually, otherwise why not just order a delivery service, right? Why not mail them to me? Or have like a flower person, what do you call them? Whatever the fuck, like why not have them do delivery? So the fact that he knew she had a date, if I was her, I'd be thinking, oh, he's definitely going to test. He's seeing if the guy is here or he wants the guy to see me. Also, the reason why people don't like simps, okay? The reason why people don't like guys that do a lot of things for them like this isn't because the guy is doing whatever or is simpy. It's because simps do things expecting something in return for it. So the fact that he thought he did a nice thing and then got nervous when there was no response, like he was expecting her to be exuberant with joy, that like, oh my God, you gave me flowers. He's like, oh, she's not responding favorably. Oh God, what's going on? And then when she DM'd him or texted him and she said, sorry for the late response, it makes it sound like he was sending her text messages afterwards. Like, hey, are you okay? Hey, I did something. Hey, but like, that's what, yeah, it makes him come off as like very, very, very clingy, very, very, very needy. And also like, I just did something that might've made you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I need you to give me reassurance right now that I did an okay thing. And then I need you to give me like positive reinforcement for it. It's like, whoa, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, this is all of this, in my opinion, is, I would say, would I tell a girl to never see a guy again if he did this? I don't know if this would be enough for me to say, don't ever see him again. But I mean, I would definitely say, keep your eyes open, like more shit testing, figure out what the fuck is going on. But Yeah, this would make me very uncomfortable, especially if the guy is 35 years old. But I also probably would have roasted the fuck out of my female friend saying, why the fuck would you give this guy your apartment code? Are you fucking retarded?